Millions of pounds worth of compensation could be owed by the government to thousands of women who've experienced complications due to mesh implants.
Yeah, mesh implants. They've been used for decades as a quick fix to treat pelvic problems. And while for many the surgery has been successful, new research suggests that even after the mesh is taken out, it can leave some patients with life-changing complications.
Well, Sharon Marnie says the mesh that was implanted in her body back in 2010 caused her immune system to go into overdrive. But when it was removed, her health improved dramatically.
And Sling the Mesh founder Kath Sansom is warning victims that they shouldn't face delays like those in the post office and infected blood scandals to get compensation. Thanks for coming in, both of you.
Yeah,
obviously, when this therapy started, it was the bright new thing. I mean, you know, nobody puts stuff like this inside patients thinking it's going to do them harm. They think the opposite. When did it first become obvious that there was something wrong with this?
Well, it started being implanted in the late 90s, and I would say women tried to start raising awareness probably around about 2006, 2007, but what we found was their voices weren't being taken seriously. They were being treated as hysterical women, told to retrain their brain to manage the pain, because what was happening, there was no specific hospital code to track these women. So for 10 years, these mesh implants were being implanted, but there was no way to get any data to see who was suffering. There was no post-market surveillance. So it was really difficult to have their voices taken seriously.
You have brought in
yes,
a piece of this mesh.
Yeah.
So because I think a lot of people will not have a clue what we're talking about.
Yes.
So why would this material, which you're holding up there, and which is very scratchy and very rough, why would that be inserted using those metal needles that you're holding in your hand?
Well, it was designed to treat bladder leaks or pelvic organ prolapse. The theory being is that it's the only surgery we know of done blind, this particular kit. So they'll insert their hooks transvaginally and place the mesh underneath the urethra to hold it up. Now, what happens, this plastic can shrink and harden once it's placed. So what can happen, that's inside the woman's most private parts of her body. It's slicing through vaginal walls, it's cutting into bowels and bladders, it's slicing through uretras. The hooks are removed, by the way, once it's implanted.
Yeah.
But what was happening...
How do they secure it, then? How do they secure it inside?
Well, it's like secured and stitched up, and then the hooks come out, yeah.
Do you mind if we just feel it? Because you say, Susanna, it's very rough.
If you run your finger across the top.
I've got to say, I mean, speaking as a man, I wouldn't want that inside me.
Yeah.
I mean, that's really
It feels like
rough.
a knife.
It feels like a knife, yeah.
And Sharon, you had it inserted, implanted.
Yes.
And what happened to you?
So I had it for a bowel prolapse after I had a third-degree tear after I gave birth to my daughter. And it was inserted in May 2010. And within a few weeks of it being inserted, I mean, I didn't realise it at the time, but my eyes started to go dry. And then shortly after that, I would have a chronic cough. I would be forever clearing my throat. I'd have postnasal drip. Then my hands, I would get burning sensations in my hands and in the bases of my feet, but you couldn't see anything. And, you know, chronic fatigue. I'd get up in the morning and I'd try to walk, you know, get out of bed, and my muscles in my legs would have seized up. They would get better on movement, but it was like being an old woman, and I was in my early 40s. And it immediately, I think, as well, put me into menopause. I was 42 when I was implanted, and I had my last period when I was 44. So it seemed to happen very, very quickly. So I was dealing with an awful lot, and I think mesh is a known endocrine disruptor, so perhaps that's what speeds it up. But
As in, it affects your hormones.
Yes, yes. But the worst thing for me, I think, is that as time went on, I mean, for 8 years, I was going backwards and forwards to the GP and saying, I can't use my hands. I couldn't lift a tray out of the oven. By the time it was removed in 2018, I couldn't do pincer grip, so I couldn't put a key in the door. I couldn't grip the key to open.
When did you suspect that it was the mesh that was giving you all of these symptoms?
Only in 2018, when there was a BBC article, and my friend sent me a link to it and said, have you seen this?
How many years?
8 years.
8 years.
Not
connecting the mesh with all of this stuff.
Exactly.
And what were the doctors saying to you? Because you were obviously going with a whole load of symptoms.
Exactly. I mean, you feel a bit like a hypochondriac because you're going with symptom after symptom after symptom. My GP is amazing, and ran a whole heap of tests. But the problem is, while you've got the symptoms, you don't actually have the disease. So all the tests come back normal or within range. And without a diagnosis, there's no treatment. So you have to just plod on. And then eventually you get to the point where you stop going to the GP because you think, what's the point? And you try and adjust and adapt to your new normal and soldier on.
So you found this article which suggested that these collection of multiple symptoms may be connected to the mesh.
Well, this is it.
And then did you get it removed?
Yes.
And what happened then?
So I found Kath's group. I found all of these women. I just posted, do any of you get these, listed my symptoms? And all of these women, yes, 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 yes. And it's a real mixed bag of emotions because you've just found your tribe. You've found all these women that are validating.
You've got an answer to what's going on.
Exactly, that are validating your symptoms, and it's, you know, because I had it written up in my medical notes, I didn't find out till much later that could be psychological. It's menopausal. No, you know what I mean. That was a
line.
Yeah. And
when it was taken out, how soon did you feel better?
Immediately. So it was removed. I was in intensive care straight after it was removed, and I couldn't do this. And I remember starfishing my hands to see if it hurt, and it didn't. And I thought, well, that could be the morphine. I'll see, you know, I don't want to get my hopes up. I'll see how it is in the morning. And they literally went immediately. The only
like
thing,
within hours of the procedure?
Yeah.
It's incredible.
And but the only thing that didn't get really much better is the dry eyes. They improved, but not, they're still awful.
Kath, I mean, this is awful what's happened, that something that was supposed to fix your problem actually caused many, many other problems. You are campaigning now for a compensation scheme.
Yes.
How far are you getting with that? I mean, presumably it is on the companies who provided this mesh to compensate those of you who've been damaged by it.
Well, in that's the theory.
Yeah.
But in practice, actually, it's the government who the onus falls on because the NHS allowed this procedure to take place. So in 2020, there was a report called the First Do No Harm report, and there were 9 key recommendations, one of which was compensation to women, because Sharon, myself, there's 12,000 on the group. All of us trusted our surgeon. You have to. We all trust our doctors. And we were given a treatment we're told was gold standard, all been harmed. And we're in this position where our health has been ruined. So 5 years ago, it was recommended we get compensation, and here we are, and we're still waiting to hear from the government.
Post office scandal time again, isn't it?
100%. You know, I have members on the group, 1 in 4 need a stick or a wheelchair to walk, and their lives have been devastated, lost jobs and marriages, and they need that money now.
Let's let you know what a Department of Health spokesperson said. The harm caused by pelvic mesh continues to be felt today. Our sympathies are with those affected, and we're fully focused on how best to support patients and prevent future harm. Well, you're very clear, aren't you, about how they can do that. Thank you both very much
for telling
indeed.
your stories.
Thank you.
Yeah, and all the very best to you.